Fight Night on DAZN, brought to you by that prize guy. Wasn't as easy as he thought it was going to be, but George Liddard remains the British and Commonwealth middleweight champion. He adds the IBF Intercontinental middleweight title. He remains unbeaten, and he's on course for some real big things in 2026 and 2027. Beyond the bell, myself, Tony Bellew, Johnny Fisher. Great night of boxing, by the way.
Brilliant.
In terms of a four-fight card, that's one of the best four-fight cards I've ever seen.
The opener was amazing, and it just got better and better since then.
Fair play to Tom Dallas, matchmaker. Been brilliant.
And that's a hard job as well. To matchmake's not easy, right? I mean, you know what fans are like, they can critique as soon as it goes bad.
Give him his flowers.
Let's give him his flowers. He really did well. Let's give George Liddard his flowers as well, because Tyler Denny came to fight Tony. He came to put it on him. You would think after the first couple of rounds that it was going to be one-way traffic. And Tyler showed that experience and got back into the fight, and in the end just didn't have enough.
I had Tyler Denny win him with 4, maybe 5 rounds.
Yeah.
I thought he gave every single close round to George Liddard tonight, but there was nothing wrong with that because George did land the hardest shots throughout the fight. I think it's all about the next step. Now, listen, Tyler Denny should walk out with his head held high tonight. He's always in the away corner. He's took 6 prospects zeros over the years. 6 prospects, and he was well in that fight tonight going into the championship rounds, and it talks an awful lot about George Liddard with the way he finished this fight. The championship rounds, he came strong. That talks to me about how good his conditioning is, how good his trust and belief is in his coach and his team and Tony Sims, that he was willing to put his foot down in rounds 10, 11 and 12. That's the hardest time. Like the first time when you do a 12-rounder, it's the hardest time to put your foot down, and he done it. He got the job done, so well done to George Liddard.
Johnny, he trusted his fitness, he trusted his chin, he got hit a couple of times, and he said, okay, come on. And you mentioned before the fight that they got you working in that Matchroom gym. They really make sure you do the miles, and I think we saw it not just with him, but with Jimmy Sains as well. I mean, the fitness levels for both of those boys to go deep in the latter rounds was something special.
Well, from my own personal experience, I know that there's one thing having heart, and then there's one having the facilities and the capability to carry out and utilise that heart. So you've got to have the engine to match it. You can be as brave as you want, but if you haven't got the engine to match it, and that's when you're doing them hill sprints, that's when you're going to the Leon T steps, when it's 6 o'clock in the morning and you think, I could do with another couple of hours in sleep and roll over to the other side. So it's all that mental fortitude and the physical attributes that you need to have.
What do they do with Liddard next? Obviously, Eddie mentioned outright a British title. He also mentioned Liam Smith's name as well. Liam's kind of teetering on, should he continue, should he not? I mean, do you do that? Do you go for another experienced pro, or do you go somewhere different?
Liam's vastly experienced, and let me tell you, Liam in them championship rounds is going to come strong, and with everything that he's got. Why do you need to rush to someone like that? I mean, there's a JJ Metcalf sitting around, very good fighter, you know, formidable, strong, comes forward, will test him like anything else. Shaquille Thompson.
Yeah.
15-0.
Fights on the Magnificent 7 card if he comes through that one.
15-0 fighter, you know, I'm sure he's going to want to get his hands on them belts. You know, being a British and Commonwealth champion, it carries weight. And it means something to the proper boxers out there. You know, do you want to go the old-fashioned British, Commonwealth, European, world champion? George is on his way there.
Yeah.
He wants to keep hold of them. To win a British title outright is very hard, especially in the middleweight division. It's a marquee division. It's a top division. And like I said, them names I've said before, what's wrong with the JJ Metcalf fight? JJ is a hard fight. It's a really hard fight. And Shaquille as well, he's a hard fight. So, good fighters. Liam, I think Liam Smith's above the level, but it's up to what he wants to do. He's been an amazing fighter. He's been an amazing servant to British boxing. And I love when Liam fights because he's always in good fights. But the last time he was out, he wasn't at his best. Yeah. So, you know, let's see.
That's why I mentioned maybe he's teetering on making that decision, whether or not
he'll make the right decision. Between him and his family, he'll make the right one.
I guess for George, there is no rush. He mentioned it a few times. I'm only 23. Yeah. I'm only 23. Like, I'm 14-0, but I'm still only 23. Why rush?
And he's got a tremendous trainer who's not only a trainer in the physical side of it, but he'll know how to make sure that the career and the progression is the correct pace. And that's always good as a fighter. You know you're in good hands with Tony. Got a good team in Matchroom. All he's got to do is train hard and make sure he does what is told of him.
Do you know the hardest thing is, once you've gone up to that level, there's no going back.
Yeah.
Johnny, you know you've learned, and it's been tough for Johnny at certain times. I've had setbacks in my career, but once you go to a level that's it then. There's no going back, and it's hard. So just he needs to take his time, find the right defence. That was a hard fight tonight. That was not easy. He's took some big shots, and if there was a bigger puncher in there tonight, we might have found out something else about him. But it was Tyler Denny, who's a really good fighter. You know what? Would anyone want to see that again?
I'd love to see that again.
Tyler would like to see it again.
I thought it was a really good fight. I'm not going to lie.
I wouldn't mind.
I thought there was 2 rounds. So what's wrong with running that back? Let's see. Can you beat him? Can you stop? I don't know. But like I said, JJ McCarthy, Shaquille Thomas, more good fights. That's what we want.
Yeah, win that British belt outright, as Tony said. That is
Sainsy tonight, Visioli. The future's bright. These youngsters are now coming through and they're ready.
That's the perfect segue. Obviously, he's been doing this before. Visioli, let's talk about him, because there were 3 wars. With Visioli, there certainly wasn't. It was almost punch perfect. I mean, just a beautiful boxer. And maybe, I guess, the one thing maybe is that could he have gone up that extra gear to really get rid of Giles? But apart from that, perfect.
There's so many fights I can name that I've watched and studied over the years. It's like when Shakur Stevenson fights and everyone goes, you know he's just so much better, but you want that finish, don't you?
Yeah.
But when your level's above someone, get rid of them. And I know the frustrating about this, with Shakur Stevenson, it's difficult because he's fighting elite fighters who are the same level as him, and he's still outclassing them. But for Giorgio Visioli tonight, he's so much better. And I think if he puts his foot down in round 6, 7, 8, he gets rid of him. I don't even think that's a question, but he's happy to cruise and happy to look the part, look good. Son, that can cost you going down the road. Believe you me, it only takes one shot that you don't see coming.
So aesthetically pleasing to watch, as you said. But sometimes it is nice to see someone go in there and turn the screw and really
Johnny, that's what they turn up for.
Yeah, that's what people in the stands that have paid their 40 quid or 500 quid, they want to see a bit of blood and guts.
Especially
but I wish I could do half of what Giorgio Visioli could do.
Of course, listen, I'm foot fit as well. I couldn't do some of the stuff the kid could do.
I think there's a few, Sam.
Brilliant.
Let's quickly wrap up. Before we do it, let's talk Jimmy Sains.
Yes.
Derek Asazi. I mean,
very good
he wanted a test, didn't he? And he got the test. I mean, this was difficult for Jimmy Sains at times, but he found a way. Again, I'll go to you, Johnny, because it goes to what he's doing in the gym. Things that we don't see, the fans don't really see all the, or as you say, the early morning sprints and hill runs. And he needed that today against Asazi.
He did. Asazi was he's a good operator himself. These weren't easy fights tonight. Every fight, as you said, was competitive. Jimmy Sains had to dig and show something else. And as I said, if you don't have that mileage in the tank where you've been on the road or you've been doing the running or pushing yourself on the bag, you won't be able to come through that no matter how much you want to do it.
You know who took Asazi's 0, don't you? Tyler Denny.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. You just, people don't pay close attention to what I'm told. These fights are making these fighters better. Sains tonight was really good, and he showed he could come through some moments, but it was hard for him there at times, and he's learnt more tonight than he has in all the other fights in his career combined. For Visioli, not so much. And then I'd say for Liddard, I'd say that's a big fight for him tonight. Your first 12 rounds was very, very hard, and he's come through.
Can I put you on the spot very quickly, Johnny? Obviously, Sains and Liddard in the same gym, same weight. One title behind.
Stop it,
one title behind the other.
Stop.
No, but Jimmy Sains' ambition is going to be wanting to
British
British title.
Gym.
It's going to be wanting to win British title.
Cause a little bit.
I'm just saying. No,
this is the journalist in him.
It's a bit Wardley Talma going on, isn't it?
Tony.
They spar each other a bit.
They spar each other a lot. They spar in little square circles and properly go for it. And
yeah, I can imagine.
But yeah, it's a nice question to ask, but I don't think it's not going to happen while they're under the same roof.
I've known Tony a long time.
Sorry, Tony, I'm just asking a question.
Tony would not allow that to happen on his watch. He couldn't possibly, because I don't know who's been there longer, but I know they're similar in age and they're at a similar level. They're on the way, they're on the right trajectory to meet, but that's never going to happen while they're in that gym. Tony Sims wouldn't
don't need to yet.
Okay.
It doesn't need to.
Just remember I said it. All right, let's talk about the first fight, which was clearly fight of the night. I mean, that was a war. Lily Buttigieg getting the job done. And I spoke to his team after. And I said, look, send him on holiday. Let him relax, because that was a war. And you don't want to take those type of wars when you're a young kid coming through. You can't have a lot of those in your career.
You're spot on. You can't. You'll get 3, maybe 4 nights like that in your whole career, and then you damage goods. There's no 2 ways about it. It's Buttigieg, he found the punch. I'm not going to lie, he kind of... It was a really close fight, one that I thought he might have been losing with the points off and that ridiculous gum shield. But he found the humdinger of a punch that got him through. And it literally just about got him over the line. But he's got to sort that gum shield out first and foremost. And learn to go for the finish. They're rattling off these combinations and it's like tap, 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 tap. Land the hard shots in. Stop tapping with jabs. Use the jab as the jab can be a weapon, can be a ramrod at times. You've got to learn to use it properly.
It's making me think, right, because you want to find that balance between having hard fights where you learn or having them easy fights where you knock someone out in 1 or 2 rounds. When I fought here and knocked someone out in 30 seconds, you don't really learn much from that.
No, you don't.
And then when I've had an absolute war and I've had one when I've been beat very badly, like, you learn a lot from them, but you don't want to be having too many, as you said, 3 or 4. You've got 3 or 4 or 5 of them if you're lucky in your career.
Can I be totally honest? Your learning, champ, is done.
We don't expect anything else, Tony.
No, the learning is done in the gym. The learning is done in the rounds of sparring, getting by sparring better opponents. I used to get opponents in that were contenders. I didn't want the regular sparring partner.
Oh, you're right.
I remember getting Noel Givo's, Noel Mikhailian, now the WBC champion. He was one of my sparring partners. He's a champion now.
When you go and spar a Hrgovic or a Fury, that's when
them hard rounds are done in the gym. Here is a bonus.
Yeah.
You're under the light. This is a bonus. I want to shine here. I want to look great. I want to get a knockout in 20 seconds if I can. Because the last 12 weeks I've gone through hell. And I've prepared my body for war. And that's what it's all about. What you do in that gym is what you show under them lights, yes.
You know what's going to be war as well? Tonight, don't go anywhere. Get a coffee, in fact.
Yes, this will be a good one.
Maybe order a Chinese. They see what I did there? Maybe order a Chinese.
I'll never say no to a Chinese,
yes,
mate.
Indeed. Because Carlos Adames defends his WBC middleweight strap. It's been a middleweight theme tonight. He takes on Amo Williams. This one was supposed to happen on the undercard of Teofimo Lopez versus Shakur Stevens. It happens tonight in Orlando, Florida. It's going to be a cracking fight. It's been a cracking night of boxing. This place never fails to deliver. Hopefully we see you
back in
selling
here,
out the Copper Bosch once again.
I love it here. It just feels like home now. I mean,
the noise it makes when you're on,
it's nothing
so loud.
When you come out like that, you do that, everything, it's just fantastic. Johnny, it's been great to have you with us.
Thank you very much for having me.
It's there next time.
Yes.
Tony, as always,
pleasure, brother.
It's been great to have you guys with us as well. We'll see you on the next one, but make sure you stay up for the middleweight title fight.